Welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority Planning Commission meeting. Call to order at 6:37 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi,
Present.
Councilmember Tylinda,
Here.
Councilmember Marquez,
Present.
Councilmember Calderon.
Present.
We have quorum.
Madam Mayor, could I request that the council consider adding Councilmember Tylinda remotely? She's at home with an illness and has requested that, and there be an action on your part.
Okay, I motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi,
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez,
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin.
Pastor Cesenia? Pastor, could I ask that before you start, if we can, if you could ask for a moment of silence for Coach Sal from soccer, please.
Amen. Let's do a minute of silence in remembrance of Officer and Coach Salvador. Thank you. May we ask the Lord for peace for his family and friends. Let us pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of serving our city of Calexico. We ask for your wisdom, your peace, and unity to strengthen all of our community leaders. Bless our council members with clarity, compassion, and integrity as they work for the good of our community. May your protection rest over our city, and may your favor bring growth, blessings, and hope to every family. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Please take a seat. Any closed session announcements?
Yeah, Madam Mayor and Council, there was no reportable action from tonight's closed session.
Okay, we move on to the approval of the agenda. Were you going to bring up item number 11?
The request has been made to move number 11 forward on the agenda. I'd recommend that it be the first action item, so number 11 before number 9.
Okay, thank you. And then we had a presentation, you said? Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes, one of the presenters is not going to be able to make it. It's the, I don't have the name here. Ronnie?
Fundación Mujeres que Viven, they will not be able to make it.
Okay, the certificate presented by the Fundación Mujeres que Viven. We're going to go ahead and just remove that item there. We will not be able to make it, so we'll go ahead and postpone it.
So then we would be postponing item number 4, and we would be moving item number 11 ahead of item number 9. Any other
Before
changes? Oh, before item number 9, yes. Any other changes? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi,
Yes.
Councilmember Tylinda, Councilmember Marquez,
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we'll move over to announcements. Do we have any announcements? by the council? No announcements? Okay, we'll move on to public comment.
So this is the time for the public to address the city council on any items not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The city clerk will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. Group commentators may be requested to limit the group comments to 15 minutes. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. The mayor and city council reserve the right to adjust this time limit based on the number of speakers who wish to address the mayor and the city council.
Okay, thank you. Public comments are limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. If additional time is required for public comment, they will be heard toward the end of the meeting after discussion and potential action items. It is now 6:43 p.m. The first portion of public comment will end at 7:13 p.m. Okay?
Carmen Estrada.
Buenas tardes o buenas noches. Soy Carmen Estrada, presidenta de la Liga de CPA. Estoy aquí primeramente pues, para pedirle disculpas porque el evento que iba a ser el día de hoy con los jugadores profesionales y el comité de Albión pues se canceló debido a que pues, nuestros lugares donde practicamos pues, están totalmente inundados, pero lo vamos a volver a reagendar. Entonces, por favor, piensen en el dinero que hay de ARPA, que se tiene que apartar los $273,000 para soccer. Eso es muy importante. Por favor, tengan muy en cuenta. Soccer, $273,000. Está el dinero ahí, nada más que hay que apartarlo. Yo quiero felicitar al comité de Departamento de Policía por el evento que hicieron. Fue un evento sensacional. La verdad, se vio la unión del pueblo y cada uno de ustedes fue algo maravilloso. Y eso a mí me tiene con una satisfacción. Gracias. Gracias, jefe.
Okay, thank you.
Juan Morán.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and staff, and members of the public. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Juan Moran, 5 Vega Street, and I'm here on behalf of some of the residents of Vega Street, Elena Drive, and Elena Place, 7 out of 8 households adjacent to a commercial or business property. The 8 households prefer to remain neutral for their own reasons. I will read a petition that I personally submitted to the city clerk on November 17th, 2025, so that it is on the record. It's a 1.5 pages. Petition to replace decrepit fence between commercial property and adjacent private residences. To Calexico City Council, Local Zoning Board, or Planning Commission. From concerned residents, some of whom are here behind me, of Vega Street, Elena Drive, and Elena Place. Dated November 17, 2025. Subject, request for replacement of decrepit wooden fence and construction of a uniform cinder block wall and with share funding. We, the undersigned residents of Vega Street, Elena Drive, and Elena Place, respectfully petition the responsible parties to replace the deteriorating wooden fence that separates the commercial property at 1820 Imperial Avenue, Calexico, California, 92231, from our adjacent private residences. Key concerns. The current fence is dilapidated, decrepit, and unsafe, compromising both security and privacy for homeowners and commercial clients. A portion of the boundary already features a cinder block wall, establishing a precedent for durability and visual consistency. The lack of a secure uniform barrier has contributed to noise pollution, visual disruption, and potential property devaluation. Our proposal: we request that the existing damaged fencing be replaced with a cinder block wall matching the existing section to ensure structural integrity and long-term resilience, visual uniformity across the entire boundary, and hence safety, privacy, and neighborhood aesthetics. Cost-sharing requests. In accordance with the shared responsibility principle outlined in California Civil Code Section 841 and or other local ordinances, we propose a cost-sharing arrangement between private homeowners who will benefit from improved security, privacy, and property value, the City of Calexico, which has a vested interest in maintaining neighborhood standards, public safety, and infrastructure integrity, and additional funding partners such as the County of Imperial, the State of California, or other relevant agencies to be identified and pursued by the city. We respectfully request, may I continue?
There's a 3-minute limit, sir. But if you could submit that document to the city manager so he could look into it, or actually the city clerk. I'm sorry.
The petition was already submitted on the 7th, on Monday.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Maria Cayer.
Hello everybody, my name is Maria Calleros and I'm a homeowner of Rancho Frontera condominium. I would like to pass some information regarding an issue that's been going on 2 years here in the city of Calexico, and I'm so worried and I'm so stressful, and I'm looking for answers and action, and the only person who's giving me that light, it's my lender, Ronnie Platero, and I would like to share some information. I'm pretty sure I'm going to start like that, and I would like that she can help me to explain better. There's a lot of information going on here. It explains everything. I appreciate all your time, and she was going to help me out to explain better the topic.
Ronnie Platero.
I have 3 minutes, so I'll talk really fast, okay? So what we have here is 2 email addresses. One of them is from, first of all, Maria here is trying to sell her condo at Rancho Frontera. And so I'm just going to say, let's talk about the temperature in the nation and the temperature here. What's the one thing that's really tough right now? Affordability, right? We're not talking about eggs and the prices of any of that. We're talking about housing now. And Calexico hasn't had any building in about 17 years. In addition to that, it probably is the most highest priced home values in the Imperial County. Not only that, it has the highest taxes for properties in Imperial County. That I know. I'm a lender, I have 40 years experience, and I've done my research, and I have clients come in all the time. One thing that I find here in Calexico a lot is that affordability is not something that you have. But you have 2 condo projects, and affordability there, the maximum sales prices are about $230,000. What's happened here is that they're difficult to sell due to the fact that the HOA has been negligent. We have a health and safety issue here. And in here you're going to find kind of like a paper trail. So she's been trying to sell her condo. It does not pass conforming lending. So what that means is not only for her, it affects everybody here. If you have someone here that would like to buy affordable housing and buy into that property, first-time buyer programs and low down payments don't exist because of the way the HOA has been handled. And so therefore, it's called a QM non-warranty, which is kind of like a step down from hard money lending. So instead of coming in with your normal 6% to 3 or 5% down payment, your typical buyer has to come in with 20% down and probably get an 8 to a 9% interest rate. So a lot of the young people here, young families, single families, can't buy there because it's a difference of coming in with 20,000 or coming in with 40 to 60,000. So therefore, you're losing it, and I see it every day. You have these young individuals that could probably live here and actually contribute, moving to El Centro, Imperial, where there is affordable condo projects. And you only have 2, and they're both managed by the same people. What we have here is their response to Maria here was find another lender, which is fine. They could find another lender, and that's a hard money lender, or lower the sales price. So what she had to do was they wanted her to take a $15,000 reduction in value versus fixing the situation. So she ended up losing that escrow. She took another escrow, and she went down $10,000. So that stops her. Who's buying these condos? Investors. They're buying them with the 20 because they're the only ones that have money. And so then they're turning around and renting them and hiking them up. So you're losing home ownership here. So you're not doing a service to your people. What you have there in the blue folders is the documentation why it's not passing inspection. The last time the homeowners association, which is the board, are all family members, and they own 16% of those units, okay? And yes, they are people that live here in Imperial. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'll finish it up really quickly. So what's happening here is the board is negligence. The last time they did an engineer's report was in June of 2023. That's 2.5 years ago. Fannie Freddie have classified them as critical due to the condition of the property. You have water damage, there's a balcony situation in the state of California, there's structural damages.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you, ma'am.
Because
I have to, yeah, because
okay.
the 3
So
minute
anyway,
but we'll
take a look at it, and if
send
you
this
want
to
more
the
explanation, because you're probably, it's gonna be gibberish to you, whatever you read there, but however, the bottom line is that you have a health and safety
Okay.
issue that will actually ignore you.
Thank you.
Marco Márquez.
Muy buenas tardes. Quiero exponerles un problema que nos afecta a todos y principalmente a la propiedad que tenemos. Está ubicada en el 226 calle Séptima. La casa que está a un lado está abandonada desde hace más de 20 años. Hay muchos homeless y por otro lado mucha basura. Ya ustedes tienen conocimiento, les mandé un video sobre ese problema. Hay un problema de contaminación de moscas y ahorita el 7 de noviembre, que es muy reciente, la prendieron. Está quemada parcialmente, no todo, gracias a los bomberos que oportunamente ayudaron a que no se quemara nuestra casa, ni la de enseguida. Entonces, lo que queremos es que nos apoyen. Ya hablé yo con Miguel Muñoz, me dice yo no puedo hacer nada. Hablé con otras personas, funcionarias de aquí, no pueden hacer nada. Entonces, el conocimiento que tengo de esa casa es que la dueña es Maritza Hurtado. No sé si actualmente sea la dueña, pero ese es de alguna manera una información importante. ¿Cuál es mi petición? Pues ver si nos apoyan para tumbarla, demolerla y que no sea ese problema que hay ahorita de contaminación y de homeless, ¿no? Que no sabemos cómo le hacen, pero ahí viven. Gracias.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, members of the public, members of the council. My name is Luis Casillas, 420 East 5th Street. I represent the Calexico Police Officer Association and our dispatchers. These are the men and women that serve your community, that answer your 911 calls, and so on and so forth. So I'll make it short, simple, and sweet. The reason for our visit here tonight is due to the failed attempts to get the members of our department properly paid and the proper pay increases and the proper merit increases that they deserve. And this has been going on for over a year. I understand that there is a whole new crew over there in the finance department, but this is just it's a slap in the face to the people that serve your community, to the officers that represent you. It's a slap in the face. It's been going on for over a year, and it's a lack of leadership, in part by the city manager, who's been brought to his attention, and by the finance director. And I haven't had an opportunity to meet Ms. Chaparro, but ma'am, you seem like you strike me as a nice lady and a humble person. But I tell you what, your name fits you,
Mr.
because
Garcia.
you are falling short.
Mr.
You are
Garcia.
not doing your job,
Mr.
and our people
Garcia.
are not getting paid.
Order. Please direct yourself to the council.
Well, our plea is to you, to the council, to give some direction, to get this issue fixed. Our people are going through financial hardships because of this. It's been an ongoing issue for over a year. You sit there today, Sergeant Legaspi, with that blank stare. You swore that you worked in our ranks, and now you turn your back on us. And I have to say that from what I understand, per my vice president, the only people that have reached out to try and take care of this matter has been Ms. Tailinda and Ms. Nuricumbo, and we appreciate that. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Mr. Calderon is aware of it, and if you haven't, sir, now you're aware of it. Ms. Marquez. And if Ms. Chaparro is not doing her job, then she needs to be replaced. And it's not the first time that this is going on in that finance department, so we know it can be done. And so we hope that you bring some immediate attention to this, because it is clearly a lack of leadership in the part of the city manager, because it's been brought to your attention, sir. And I would hate to see you be another one of the city managers that comes and goes, because I've seen about 20 of them in my tenure. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Jonathan Rangel.
Good evening. You guys have met the president. He's been absent for a while, but nonetheless, he's always there backing us up and guiding us wherever we need. First and foremost, I'm Jonathan Rangel, the vice president of the POA. I want to thank those that came out to the Halloween event we had this November 1st. It was a success. We look forward to the next few years. We try to make it an event where the community can come out. If you guys take a look at the back of City Hall, the gazebo looks amazing, amazing. And that's thanks to the hard work of the staff, Public Works. They went out there, they literally spent about 2 days out there cutting the grass, putting the light bulbs, excuse me. They communicated with me really well. I want to give them a shout out. They are an amazing group you guys have here. But I'm a little embarrassed that I have to be here again in regards to the pay issues that are happening within our CPOA members. Like my partner, the president mentioned, just 2 council members reached out to inquire about the comments I made 2 meetings ago. Thank you, Mayor. Sure, she could see me. Councilmember Tailinda, thank you so much. We were able to have dialogue in regards to that, and you guys showed concern for what's happening between us. Let me remind you that we still show up to work. We provide the same quality of service for our residents, in and out, or even the people that tourists that come through here. We're not gonna stop working just because our pay is bad, or because our merit increases have not been adjusted appropriately. It's been almost a year since Mr. Daniels, since I brought this issue up, but as soon as Mr. Daniels was here, the day that you guys accepted him to be the city manager, he reached out to me. I came in here and I made the same statement. We have pay issues. We have pay issues. I went home, he called me, came back, we gathered it, we solved some of them. But we're back on it. It keeps on increasing and increasing and increasing. So now we're looking at many retros. Now we're looking at the PD's budget being tarnished or being harmed by this because we have to pay all these members back. It's plain and simple. The question is, how much does public safety employees matter to you, to the city manager? You know, we respect you guys, but I respect the people that are sitting right here a lot more. They're with me out there, and we're not gonna stop. We're gonna be here again next meeting when we have to. We want the public to know what we stand for, and that is for them. But we need to be rewarded appropriately the way it should be. No more games. Just give us our merit increases the way they should be. We can work with the retro later. We can do that. We're willing to compensate or to meet halfway. I just think we deserve what's right, and that's to be paid accordingly. There's nothing better than to have your employees be happy and be showing up with a smile than paying them the proper way. Once again, Mayor, thank you so much. Councilmember Talena, again, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. We're moving on over to City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. I'm going to report on a couple of items. First and foremost, I'd like the Chief of Police to give an update on the downtown meter installation, parking meters.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council members. Right now, tentatively, we have the meters they're scheduled to be installed on Sunday, this coming Sunday, and they should be up and working by, so Sunday the 23rd and 24th, they'll continue to be installed, so should we be up and running by Wednesday. And that's pretty much it. And that's it.
Thank you, Chief. The next item, I'm going to have Chief Contreras give an update on the surplus items we're working out at the Public Works Yard.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Speaking with the Chief Orozco today regarding the surplus of the police vehicles that have been at Public Works for quite some time now, reaching out to Public Works. They're working on bringing a staff report to council in January. I believe they were working as well as uploading the vehicles to govox.com to have these vehicles auctioned. There wasn't going to be any offers or whatnot. They were going to make a recommendation to move forward to have these vehicles donated to the city of Mexicali. So there should be a staff report coming to council in January.
Thank you, Chief. The next item is related to the Veterans Memorial plaques and the fact that we know that vandalism occurred, and we've been working starting to work to look and see what the solution is going to be to replace those plaques. It's going to take a couple things. First and foremost, we need to do outreach on the names. We want to make sure we get a collective, comprehensive list of the names that were out at the site and others. I ran into, for instance, a family at the veterans event and gave them my card, and they wanted to see, what would be the process to have their family, their son's name added to the memorial. So we need to make sure and brush off those policies and bring them to the council and get that going, the list of names. Mr. Public Works Director here needs to come up with a design, and I'm sure he'll do that. The miracle worker will come up with a design that's going to last, that will avoid, vandalism in the future. So he hasn't come up with that yet, but that's something that we're definitely working on. And then lastly, funding. There's been discussion of outside agencies that are interested in helping us fund this restoration effort. So we very much appreciate that. We'll be following up with those agencies. But as far as a time frame, I don't have a time frame. I would like to say by the next time we celebrate Veterans Day, we should have this done, but maybe even Memorial Day. That might be a little too soon, but we're going to endeavor to have it done perhaps by Memorial Day. So we're on this, and we'll continue to work on this important project. Okay, lastly, just a couple more items that our Director Jesus Villegas is going to give a brief update on.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and all members of the City Council. The first item is about the security camera placement Basically, we began this project about 6 weeks ago, even before the vandalism. The City Hall was, victim. Anyways, we met with our current IT company, is WPMP, and we were exploring some opportunities we might have to install security cameras throughout the city, especially the parks, the baseball fields. We did that in kind of an informal way. We didn't have another follow-up meeting. That is to be determined. But meanwhile, we are going to meet this Friday, November 21st at 3:30. It's going to be a meeting with the city manager, public works, and the police department to follow up on that regard. The other item is the truck roads. Basically, public works has been working with Caltrans and county public works for the installation of the traffic counters. It's been kind of a longer time that we anticipate with Caltrans. We finally, today, we received a conditional acceptance of our encroachment permit. We anticipate that they are going to give us the final approval in the following weeks. So meanwhile, we have been working with the public works, county public works. So we are kind of ready to move forward with the installation of those traffic counters, and hopefully I would say, if not the following council meeting, but the next one, we should have those in place.
Thank you, Mr. Villegas. That ends our report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any commissioners' reports? Okay, we'll move on to city council comments and reports of meeting attended. Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Welcome, everyone. I attended the National Night Out hosted by the Calexico Police Department and Police Commissioners Ad Hoc Committee. It was a marvelous event with multiple agencies in attendance. Mexicali police officers had attended with a patrol unit, which the Mexicali police has never attended an event or brought a unit over to Calexico. Also, I want to thank all the staff that worked really hard, especially like the ad hoc and Javier Gonzalez and members of the committee. They did a really, really good job. Councilmember Adriana Marquez and I met with the fire chief reference to future ideas, bringing in better equipment, ways to hire more employees, first responders, financial assistance. And Chief Contreras has been doing a really good job, diligently working on this. City Manager Adriana Marquez and I met with Carmen Estrada, reference to her vision. And we're going to be taking a trip to San Diego to see one of their soccer fields and make a comparison. I attended the APRATE committee meeting. They spoke about many topics, and one of the items that's going to be hopefully brought is a flyover from ICSO. Also, numerous of us attended the Veterans Memorial event. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Jesus Villegas for your outstanding work making this event possible. Thank you. You're here Monday through Sunday. It's not Monday to Friday, it's Monday through Sunday, coming over and doing everything that should have been done many, many, many years ago, and you're right on top of it. So thank you for an outstanding job. Also for the other groups, Baja Runners, and other nonprofit organizations that assisted in this event. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Thailenda. Thank you. Councilmember Marquez?
Good evening. Since our last meeting, it's very repetitive of all the places we've attended, but I want to mention that I was able to also attend the city wellness program that the HR department put in place, and I think that was very creative on their part. Thank you for organizing that. I did see a lot of the departments and people coming in. I was able to come in during my lunch hour, not early in the morning, but there was a lot of people talking and a lot of smiles, and that's something that we need to bring to our staff. I was able to also sit in some of the commissioners' meetings and gather some information from them, but also met with the fire chief, with Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi. The night out was excellent. Thank you to the police department and to the community groups that made it happen. We also had the opportunity to meet with the soccer league community and in talks into how we can help them. The Veterans Day was amazing, Mr. Villegas. Thank you for all your hard work. I, for some reason, decided to wake up very early that day and grab coffee, and the first person that I saw out there was him cleaning, leading by example. And thank you for that. Thank you to your staff as well, because it was brought to my attention that it was not just Parks who was helping, it was everyone who came on board to make that happen. So I want to thank you and your staff for that. And I also had the opportunity to meet with traffic control. I think that we need to make sure that we're giving them shout outs, especially right now. It's really crazy out there, and we need to really help them out. But that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Calderon.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Like many of my colleagues said, I attended also the veteran ceremonials on November 11th. They were well organized. I'd like to take this time to thank the Baja Runners for the breakfast and the memorial service they held at the cemetery. Also, thanks to Pat Ureña and her family for also having a memorial service here at City Hall. And there's a lot of more people that I don't want to start mentioning because I'm probably going to forget somebody. So those that were here to help and set up and so forth, thank you, and you know who you are. Today, I also attended with Councilman Legaspi the turkey giveaway at our firehouse. There was 50 families that were given a turkey with all the dressings. I think it's important to share this kindness during these times and making sure that everybody has something to eat in Thanksgiving. And shout outs to, I think it was Captain Villanueva that was spearheading this project, and I told them that maybe next year we can improve this service. And also I have to mention that this was a collaboration with the school district. They're the ones that provided the families, and we were able to accomplish what we were planning to do. But I do want to mention something here tonight. It seems like every council meeting that we've had has to do with housing. And I'm going to tell you, I hear you, Mr. Moran, that problem Marquez has been existing even before I sat here in this chair. And it's sad that we have to go through all this. Hopefully our staff are hearing and we start to do something about some of these things that are happening in our community. The same thing goes with our ADU projects. We had a couple here that came and spoke about the ADU project. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of missing pieces to the puzzle here. We're the only city in the Imperial Valley that doesn't have a housing element and compliance report. That is actually the plan, how this city is supposed to grow and how the regulations and how these ADUs should be built in our community. But if we don't have the plan,
then we're building and have no direction as how this is going to come about. We're setting our cities for liability and future litigation with these buildings. So I hope that today that we start a new chapter and finish that housing element compliance report. And this is not just on Mr. Coyne's watch. This has been existing for several years now. But we have to finish that report so we can actually set guidelines for our people that are coming here to invest. We're actually destroying family or neighborhoods in our family areas. Excuse me. So I urge the city manager to get on this report. We need it. I mean, this has been several years that this report has not been resubmitted. It was submitted and it was returned because it didn't fit the criteria. So hopefully we can get it done and avoid a lot of these problems. And I feel for this lady that is trying to sell a condo and can't sell it because we're not doing our due diligence and patrolling and making sure that everybody that owns properties here are within compliance. And last but not least, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I know that we won't see each other, but hopefully you can spend it with your family, enjoy what's important, our lives. So again, thank you, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You guys say anything?
No, I just wanted to just add with Captain Villanueva. It started off with, I didn't bring it up earlier, with 10 turkeys only per conversation, and it went up to 50 turkeys. So he did a really good job spearheading it.
Okay, thank you. Very briefly, I want to thank all the volunteers and the commissioners that participated in the last events, which were the city cleanup, the memorial, both at the cemetery and here at City Hall, the Veterans Memorial, and also the National Night Out. All three were very successful, and I want to thank everybody that came out to help. Councilmember Thailenda and myself met a couple weeks ago, I believe. The chairman from the State Water Board and his deputy finance director and some of his senior engineers came down to meet with us Friday before last. We also had Director Karina Eugenio from the IID and County Supervisor Martha Singh at the meeting, as well as our public works staff and city manager. Just to let you know, the discussions were about Prop 4 funding, having to do with New River improvements and also funding for our wastewater treatment facility. So just wanted to let you know that we're working on that, and our intention is to keep our water rates low. So we found some opportunities for how to do the upgrades to our wastewater facility that we need. I also wanted to touch on what Councilmember Calderon said. I would like to ensure that these citizens that came up here and speak about the issues they're having with their housing is addressed. I'd like to see an update by the next council meeting as well, to ensure that all that is being looked into and that we enforce anything that we need to enforce that's not getting done. I'd also like to request that, or take this opportunity to bring up the issue that the Calexico Police Officers Association brought up right now. It's been 8 or 9 months. I know city manager's been here about 3 maybe, but that issue came up 8 or 9 months. And quite frankly, I thought it was getting done. So we don't bring it up because we think that things are getting done, and this is like the 4th time that they come. So whatever it is, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that city staff is working on, but 8 or 9 months is a very long time. to not be doing anything. So moving forward, I'd like to request that at every council meeting and if it's a closed session item, that we all receive an update on what has been done and what the issues are, because we don't know exactly what the issues are. So that's all I have. So we'll move over to consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda? Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we'll move over to discussion and potential action items. We'll start with item number 11, appointment by Councilmember Thalinda to the Business Improvement District. Councilmember Thalinda?
Hi, sorry. Yes, I'm appointing Mr. Carlos Fonseca. He's here, member in the public. If you'd like to stand up and kind of show who you are, I'd appreciate that. To be my Business Improvement District Commissioner, maybe Commissioner. So if I could get someone to second that, I motion to approve.
Okay, so do you want to repeat that because we didn't clear it? So it was, we don't need to motion to approve because it's her appointment. So she's appointing Carlos Fonseca to the Business Improvement Commission. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 9. Authorize the mayor to e-sign the pledge on behalf of the City of Calexico to commit to meeting the criteria for becoming a designated Clean California community within the next year. So I'll briefly, the information is on the staff report, but mainly what we're trying to do is authorize me to sign this pledge on behalf of the City of Calexico. And what this does is there's a list of items that we would need to do. One of them is do community cleanups, which we already started doing, and various other items that we are already doing, but others that we definitely will benefit from as a community. And what this does is that by being designated a Clean California community, we would be working in partnership with the, I believe it's called Beautify California organization, and also the at the national level. And what they do is they supply some of the items that we need for cleanup. And they also consider us or give us priority when grants are available for cleanup. So I know that cleanup has been an issue, and it's a priority to all of us here. So I'd like to request that you authorize me to sign the pledge so we can move forward with that. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda? Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item number 10, review and approve the master calendar of city council meetings for calendar year 2026. City manager, are we going to have a discussion?
I believe this is a standard item. There is a recommendation that we go dark in August and also the first meeting in January.
Do you have any comment? Do you have any public comment? I'm sorry. I forgot to ask about the other ones. We didn't have any public comment? Okay, good. Sorry about that. Okay. Do we have any comment from the council?
So
On
is
item
it the
number
first meeting this coming January?
Yeah, the first meeting of the year. Yeah.
So the 7th?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, item number 12, approve and authorize city manager to sign the loan repayment and modification agreement between the City of Calexico and De Anza Hotel Limited Partnership for the De Anza Hotel Affordable Housing Project.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. This item has been worked on over the past couple months, and I'm pleased to present to you the final agreement where the good news here is that Chelsea Development will be essentially getting a new mortgage on the De Anza Hotel Affordable Housing Project from the state of California. And this will help expedite improvements to the building. Not only is this an affordable housing project, but it's also an historic building. We have to remember that. So there's a lot of things that need to be improved, including the addition of a new elevator, because they've had issues in operations with the current elevator. So a new elevator would be part of this project, and a host of other things that will definitely benefit the residents in the community. The city has financially participated in this project, going back many years, and as a result of this agreement, Chelsea will be providing $628,684 to the city. These are older housing CRA fundings, and then that will be the principal amount as a loan repayment to the city. For these are loans were made by the city and the redevelopment agency many years ago. And then at the time of certificate of occupancy, when the project is essentially completed, which could be anywhere from 1 year to possibly 2 years at the most, but at certificate of occupancy, Chelsea agrees to pay the interest payment, which should be right around $498,000, but will vary depending on, when the project is actually completed. So I'm very happy to present this, and this project could move forward. Hopefully, we'll see their financing closing with the state happen by January, and then the construction can start. And Representative Brandon is here from Chelsea if you have any questions further about the financing they're getting from the state or the plans that they have for the project.
Does anybody have any questions for the gentleman?
I have a question for the city manager, just for the sake of the public to inform them. How much is it going to cost the city?
At this point, there's no cost to the city. Okay. We are just being paid back for the loans that were due, and then Chelsea will move forward with the renovated project with new funding from the state.
Okay. My second question is, we have 95 residents there. Are we going to rehouse some of these residents, or how is it going to work?
I believe there's, Brendan, could you please address that question? I believe there's a relocation type of process for that.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So to answer your question, we had to get a relocation plan approved by the state. And so the residents will be, need to be relocated for a week or two out of their unit. And so they'll have an option of going to another unit that's been rehabbed for 2 weeks. They have the option of given a stipend and stay with family or friends for 2 weeks, or we give them the option of going to a hotel. So, but we'll be meeting after we get all the go-ahead to move forward. We'll be meeting with them over the next 30 to 60 days and yeah, explaining everything to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know anyone else.
Anybody else, any questions? No. Okay, do we have a motion to approve? I'm sorry, do we have public comment? No. Okay, do you have a motion? Motion. Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Talinda is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item number 13, 46th Annual Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast. Approval of $2,366.09 from Fund Number 111, General Fund, and Fund Number 231, Streets for City Staff in-kind services.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, City Council. This is an annual event that's been going on a number of decades. The city has been involved in planning and sponsoring this event over the years. I think during the COVID years, when we couldn't afford financial assistance, the organization stepped up and did it mostly on their own. Last year, we did reinstate a waiver of fees, and we're asking for the same thing this year. It'll be a waiver of the fees for the public works items, like you mentioned, Mayor, about $2,366, and a waiver of the TUP fee of $135. And this event, could I have the representative, Elvira, please give us a quick update on the date and time of the event and anything else we need to be prepared for?
Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the event will be hosted on Friday, December 5th at 1 o'clock in the morning. And yes, this request is to waive the fee for the waiver, the TUP, and also waive the fees for the city works. City of Calexico has always been a great sponsor to this event, and we'll have your banner up on the board for us, for everyone to see your great participation, and we look forward to seeing you all there at 1 in the morning on December 5th for tamales and cafe and pan dulce and celebrating our farm workers of Imperial County. So thank you for this.
Thank you. I have a question. I support this event, but my issue is with waiving. I believe that when we waive for one, we have to waive for all. So can we make this a sponsorship, an in-kind sponsorship instead of a waiving?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney, I thought you were looking at something. I'm not sure.
So the request is to make it a sponsorship rather than an in-kind contribution?
Right, it is an in-kind contribution, but I'd like to make it a sponsorship from the City of Calexico to the annual Farm Workers Appreciation Breakfast instead of a waiver of fees.
So that's not the way that it was agendized?
But can we modify it? Can we motion can we modify it?
And so just to understand, what's the difference in the funding implication between a sponsorship and an in-kind?
The fact that it's a waiver, I don't believe we need to me, what we need to be fair to everyone. So there's a lot of events that are very good events like this one, but I don't want to establish some type of precedent where we're waiving fees. I'd rather it be a sponsorship than a waiver of fees.
I'd recommend, Mayor, I understand the concern and question. I would recommend we move forward with the waiver to expedite, the event tonight. But yes, cities come up, city councils and other cities, communities come up with a list of sponsored events, predetermined sponsored events, and we can do that. And that way we could, address your issue that you're bringing up right now. But I would recommend, for the sake of this event, that we move forward in this fashion.
Okay, if we can't modify the wording, because I think we're able to modify the wording.
Yeah, I'm not struggling. Is there still a budget allocation of the 2,300? Is that still the?
Yeah, the funding is not a problem. I just don't want to be starting to waive fees. I'd rather the City of Calexico help with sponsoring the event with these in-kind services and begin to waive fees.
And I think that's a fine policy question, not a legal one. So if you want to change that.
So we can reword it? We would have to get a approval by the council to reword it, correct?
I mean,
it
is an action item, and so if there's still an approval of the $2,366 from Fund Number 111, but it's as a sponsorship rather than in kind.
Okay.
That's absolutely within your discretion.
Okay, so I will initiate a motion to approve of approval of approved to sponsor $2,366.09 from Fund Number 111, General Fund, and Fund Number 231, Streets, for city staff in-kind services for the 46th Annual Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast. Do I have a second? Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and second it, but on the reference to the TUP, have we never charged the TUP before, or they've always paid for the TUP? It's only $150 for the TUP?
135.
130?
35.
So
I
we've always
checked with-
waived the TUP?
I checked with staff, and for this event, over the past 5 years, they've waived the fee. They waived the $135. We haven't intaked that fee amount for any past events. So I wasn't here in the past, but I checked with staff that was here in the past and that processed the TUPs for these events, and a fee was not taken in with the TUP application.
Well, I would consider that a sponsorship as well by the city, the full amount. So the motion is to sponsor the entire amount that is needed for their event to happen. But if you guys don't want, that's fine. I mean, that's the motion. I just don't want to get into a habit of waiving.
I'll go ahead and second it.
Okay, roll call. Madam Clerk?
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thailand is absent. Councilmember Marquez? Councilmember Calderon?
No.
Motion passes.
It dies? Okay, so then we're gonna, did it die or it pass?
No, it passed. 3.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, so item number 14. 2024-25 year-end and 25-26 first quarter budget status report and resolution to amend the 24-25 and 25-26 budget.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Our Finance Director, Carla Chaparro, will be providing a PowerPoint presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the community. Tonight, I'm presenting the fiscal year 2026 first quarter budget report, which will include the fiscal year 24-25 year-end budget results, the fiscal year 25-26 first quarter status report, and related budget amendments.
Muy buenas noches, alcaldesa, concejales y miembros de la comunidad. Esta noche presento el informe presupuestario del primer trimestre del año fiscal 2026, el cual incluye los resultados finales del presupuesto del año fiscal 2024-2025, el estado del primer trimestre del año fiscal 2025-2026 y las enmiendas presupuestarias relacionadas con tales.
Today's objectives. Today's objectives include reviewing the year-end general fund results for fiscal year 24-25, examining citywide and fund-specific trends for the first quarter of fiscal year 2026, presenting the proposed budget amendments for both fiscal years 25 and 26, and looking ahead at important financial milestones for the coming months.
El objetivo de esta noche incluye revisar los resultados del Fondo General al cierre del año fiscal 2024-2025, examinar las tendencias generales y específicas de los fondos durante el primer trimestre del año fiscal 2026, presentar las enmiendas presupuestarias propuestas para los años fiscales 2024-25, 2025-26 y anticipar los hitos financieros más importantes de los próximos meses a seguir.
24-25 General Fund Year-End Results. We closed fiscal year 24-25 in a stronger position than projected. While most major tax categories, including property sales, business license, cannabis, and hotel tax, came in below their budgeted targets, this was more than offset by significantly stronger than expected ambulance collections.
Cerramos el año fiscal 2024-2025 en una posición más sólida de lo proyectado, aunque la mayoría de los impuestos principales, incluyendo propiedad, ventas, licencias comerciales, cannabis y hotelero, terminaron por debajo de sus metas presupuestadas. Esto fue compensado por ingresos significativamente mayores en cobranzas de ambulancia.
Overall, revenues finished about $466,000 above projections, and departments ended the year with approximately $569,000 in savings. All general fund departments remain within their appropriations, with the exception of fire due to overtime and operating costs.
En total, los ingresos terminaron aproximadamente $460,000 por encima de las proyecciones, y los departamentos generaron alrededor de $569,000 en ahorros. Todos los departamentos del Fondo General se mantuvieron dentro de sus asignaciones, a excepción bomberos, debido a horas extras y costos operativos.
This performance allowed the city to meet its 68-day reserve target and generated one-time resources that can be reinvested into capital needs and long-term liabilities. As a result, there is a total of approximately $850,000 available for program support, which will be discussed on the following slide.
Este desempeño permitió a la ciudad cumplir su objetivo de reserva de 68 días y generó recursos de una sola vez que pueden reinvertirse en necesidades de capital y pasivos a largo plazo. Como resultado, se cuenta con aproximadamente $858,000 disponibles para apoyo a programas, los cuales serán conversados en la siguiente diapositiva.
2024-25 budget strategy. This budget amendment continues the city's financial strategy of improving reserves, investing in priority programs, and reducing long-term obligations.
Estrategia presupuestaria del 2024 al 2025 incluye lo que son las finanzas, estrategia financiera de la ciudad y otras cosas, reservas que aumentarán en inversiones, programas y también obligaciones a largo término.
We are recommending $177,000 to maintain the city's 68-day reserve level, $858,000 to support key programs, including $98,000 to the airport fund to address ongoing operational deficits, and $760,000 to the local capital fund to help tackle deferred capital needs and one-time projects, and $450,000 within the internal service funds to reduce long-term liabilities through contributions to the city's OPEB trust and the compensated absence reserve fund.
Recomendamos $177,000 para mantener el nivel de reserva de 68 días, $858,000 para apoyar a programas claves, incluyendo $98,000 para el Fondo de Aeropuerto y $760,000 para el Fondo de Capital Local, y $450,000 para reducir pasivos a largo plazo mediante aportaciones al Fondo OPEB y a la Reserva de Ausencias Compensadas.
Together, these adjustments maintain fiscal stability while allowing the city to responsibly invest in high-priority needs.
Juntos y llevando a cabo estos ajustes, mantendremos una estabilidad fiscal, permitiendo a la ciudad la responsabilidad de invertir en prioridades más necesarias.
24-25 Local Capital Fund status. This slide shows the Local Capital Fund. These are one-time resources available for deferred maintenance, equipment, and facility projects.
Estado del Fondo de Capital Local 2024-2025. Esta diapositiva habla acerca de lo que es el Fondo Capital Local, una vez más los recursos disponibles para el mantenimiento, equipo y proyectos de las instalaciones.
The Local Capital Fund has been augmented this year with $760,000 in one-time general fund surplus and $320,000 from investment earnings and a FEMA reimbursement. With over $1 million now available, the city can begin addressing the $7 million in deferred capital needs that departments identified during the development of the fiscal year 25-26 budget.
El Fondo de Capital Local se ha reforzado este año con 760,000 de superávit del Fondo General y 320,000 provenientes de ingresos por inversiones y un reembolso de FEMA. Con más de 1 millón disponible, la ciudad puede comenzar a abordar los 7 millones en necesidades de capital diferidos identificadas durante la elaboración del presupuesto 2025-2026. Los siguientes plazos incluyen refinanciar y priorizar la lista de proyectos, actualizar los cronogramas y también regresar con una estrategia financiera al consejo.
Next steps include refining and prioritizing the department project list, updating project timelines, and bringing back a capital funding strategy for council consideration.
Los siguientes pasos incluirán refinar y priorizar lo que son proyectos en lista para los departamentos, actualizar proyectos basados en sus pautas y también traer lo que son fondos capital y la estrategia a lo que es de consideración del consejo, para consideración del consejo,
Moving on to fiscal year 2026. 25-26 citywide expenditures. Citywide expenditures are currently at approximately 6% of the total adopted budget and are progressing as expected for the first quarter. Capital expenditures are also tracking low at this stage, which is typical as most capital project spending occurs later in the fiscal year once design and contracting activities have advanced.
Avanzando con los gastos municipales del año fiscal 2026. Los gastos municipales se encuentran en aproximadamente el 6% del presupuesto total adoptado y avanzan conforme a lo esperado para el primer trimestre. Los gastos de capital se mantienen bajos, lo cual es típico, ya que la mayoría del gasto de capital ocurre más adelante en el año fiscal, una vez que las actividades de diseño, adquisiciones y contrataciones avancen.
25-26 general fund expenditures. Departments are trending as expected, with general fund expenditures at approximately 21% of the annual budget through September, which is below the 25% first quarter benchmark. The budgeted vacancy savings target of $250,000 has already been achieved for the fiscal year. Overall, departments are managing their budgets responsibly and remain on track through the first quarter.
Gastos del Fondo General 2025-2026. Los departamentos avanzan según lo esperado con gastos del Fondo General en aproximadamente 21% del presupuesto anual a través de septiembre, lo cual está por debajo del punto de referencia del primer trimestre, 25%. La meta de ahorros por vacantes de 250,000 ya se ha logrado para el año fiscal. En general, los departamentos están administrando sus presupuestos responsablemente.
25-26 General Fund Budget Update. On the revenue side, we're proposing several adjustments to align the budget with current trends. These include an $85,000 increase in Hearthstone CFD revenue, a $120,000 reduction in parking meter revenue as we await final implementation steps, a $400,000 increase in ambulance revenue based on the most recent collection trends, and a small $5,000 adjustment in recreation revenue.
Actualización de los fondos del presupuesto general del 2025-2026. En estos fondos se está proponiendo lo que son ajustes, alineación del presupuesto actualmente presentado, incluye 85,000 de incrementos a Hearthstone, CFD Revenue y también a lo que son 120,000 reducción de lo que son los parquímetros, también esperando lo que son pasos implementados, 400,000 de incremento en ambulancias basada en lo que es la colección más reciente y asimismo también como un ajuste al área recreacional de 5,000.
On the expenditure side, we're recommending $41,275 each for police and fire departments, for capital equipment needs in police, and equipment repair and maintenance in fire, both funded by the Hearthstone CFD revenue. We're also proposing $125,000 for fire department overtime to support daily operations and $42,000 for janitorial services at the community center following the loss of federal senior program funding.
En esto también los gastos están recomendando 41,275 para lo que son policías y también equipos de bombero, mantenimiento y reparaciones, asimismo como también que serán fundados por lo que es Hearthstone CFD, y también estamos proporcionando 125,000 para lo que es tiempos o horas extras para bomberos, asimismo como 42,000 en servicios de limpieza del centro comunitario.
These adjustments keep the general fund aligned with actual trends and ensure departments have the resources needed to maintain service levels.
Estos ajustes alinean el fondo general con las tendencias actuales y aseguran que los departamentos tengan los recursos necesarios para mantener los niveles de servicio.
25-26 other fund expenditures, updates, and proposed budget amendment. Across our non-general fund programs, we're making a few adjustments to keep budgets aligned with current activity and program requirements. We're adding $2,000 in library grant revenue, recognizing a $5,500 donation for the Christmas tree lighting event, establishing a $200,000 line item for the state mandated water conservation program, and adding $170,352 in CFD levy revenue from the Hearthstone District.
Actualización de gastos de otros fondos 2025 al 26. Aquí se está recomendando que sean lo que es enmiendas propuestarias de 2,000 subvenciones de biblioteca adicional, $5,500 de fondos de donaciones para la iluminación del árbol navideño, 200,000 para programa de conservación de agua, acuerdo SWRCB, y 170,352 CFD Hearthstone Servicios de Seguridad Pública.
These updates ensure our budgets to stay accurate and compliant as projects and funding needs evolve.
Estas actualizaciones aseguran que los presupuestos permanecerán precisos y en cumplimiento conforme evolucionan las necesidades de proyectos y financiamientos.
25-26 Airport Fund status. The Airport Fund continues to operate in a deficit and has fully depleted its reserves. Fuel sales and lease revenues are not sufficient to cover costs. The proposed general fund transfer of $98,000 will support ongoing operations while staff prepares a long-term operational and financial plan to bring back to council. Staff is also evaluating fee adjustments and operational changes to help stabilize the fund moving forward.
Estado de Fondo de Aeropuertos 2025-26. Aquí se continúa. El Fondo del Aeropuerto continúa operando con déficit y ha agotado sus reservas. Las transferencias propuestas del Fondo General apoyan operaciones mientras se prepara un plan operativo y financiero de largo plazo para regresar al Consejo. El personal también está valorando ajustes y también cambios operacionales que vayan a ayudar a estabilizar estos fondos mientras avanzamos.
25-26 Water Fund status. For the Water Fund, last fiscal year ended better than expected. Revenues came in higher than projected, the debt service coverage ratio was met, and vacancy savings and operating efficiencies helped stabilize the fund. We also returned surplus state water board agreement funds back into the Water Fund.
Estado del Fondo de Agua 2025-2026 como resultados. El Fondo de Agua terminó el año mejor que lo esperado, pero el margen para cumplir la razón de deuda de este año es extremadamente reducida. También regresamos con lo que es por parte de la Junta de lo que es el Estado de Agua, con un acuerdo de fondos hacia este Fondo de Agua.
For this fiscal year, the fund can continue to meet the debt service ratio if revenues remain at last year levels. However, the margin is extremely tight. The capital program also continues to face a shortfall of approximately $2.4 million.
El año fiscal con fondos continúa en ser lo que son servicios de deuda y también mantener los mismos niveles del año pasado. Más sin embargo, aquí los márgenes son extremadamente apretados. Aquí lo que es 2.4 2.4 millones. El programa de capital permanece en corto.
Looking ahead to fiscal year 26-27, a rate increase will be required by July 2026 in order to meet the debt service requirement and fund critical capital projects.
Mirando a futuro, años fiscales 2026-2027, tendrá que haber un incremento en las tarifas requeridas para lo que es julio del 2026 para poder cumplir con estos servicios requeridos de deuda.
25-26 wastewater fund status. For the wastewater fund, revenues came in below projections last fiscal year, but the debt service ratio was met due to vacancy savings and reduced operating costs.
Estado de fondo de aguas residuales 2025-2026. Para estos residuos de agua, los proyectos del año fiscal el año pasado fueron servicios los cuales no cumplieron con lo que son los ahorros y reducieron también las operaciones de costo. Perdón, fueron cumplidos.
For this fiscal year, the fund can meet the debt service requirement only if we maintain about $175,000 in vacancy savings or other cost reductions, and there are no resources available for capital transfers. The capital program remains significantly underfunded with a $27 million shortfall tied to the deferred plant upgrade and expansion.
Las perspectivas serían de que se requiere 175,000 en vacantes y ahorros. No hay transferencia disponible para capital y el programa de capital tiene un déficit de 27 millones planta deferida.
Looking ahead to fiscal year 26-27, a rate increase will be required by July 2026 in order to maintain operations, meet the debt service requirement, and fund critical capital projects.
Perspectiva para el 2026-2027 es aumentar tarifas requeridas antes del 1 de julio del 2026. Para de esta manera, el proceso de tarifas toma 6 más meses. Se recomienda consultor.
Financial calendar and next steps. Looking ahead, we have several major financial items coming up. Completion of the annual audit, operating plans for water, wastewater, and the airport, updates to our capital project priorities, including ARPA items, and the second quarter budget report. We'll also begin development of the fiscal year 26-27 budget. Staff will continue to monitor revenues, expenditures, and progress closely.
Calendario financiero para próximos pasos. Se está mirando por adelantado los que son los temas financieros que están por venir, lo que es completar lo que es el déficit anual, operativos en planes también para el agua, también para los desagües y también para aeropuerto. Estos son prioridades incluidas ante la ARPA, ARPA por sus siglas en inglés. También durante el segundo trimestre, un reporte de las finanzas y presupuestos.
This concludes the first quarter budget presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Esto concluye con lo que es la presentación del primer trimestre y con gusto contestaré cualquier pregunta.
Okay, do we have any public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to the council. Do you have any questions or comments?
I have a couple. Ms. Chaparro, I thank you for the report, but I have a question on page 9 where you're actually giving $5,500 for the donation fund for the tree lighting. I thought this funding was already allocated through the $20,000 that we put aside for the parade and the tree lighting.
So this is separate. This is actually a donation that the city got. It was a donation for the tree lighting. And what happens is that when we get, so the budget, it was a certain amount, right? So then what happens is when we get a donation, we have to account for that donation. And this budget amendment will account for that donation. It will increase the revenue by $5,500, and it will also increase their expenditure budget by $5,500. So it's just really what it's doing. It's
a balance.
Yes, it's just.
Okay. My second question, you got $5,000 going to the recreation program revenue. I'm kind of a little concerned because I had I received some calls this week from seniors actually, that their programs will end this Friday. I don't know, I haven't checked with Ms. Gerardo, but I'm very concerned that these programs are being terminated until January. And as you know, the holidays are coming up, and these seniors, this is the only, actually, the place they go every day. And normally, I mean, it's sad to see them by themselves during the holidays and not be able to have anything for them during the holidays. I mean, we're resuming our program back in January. So I think we have funding that's going to come up. I think we should invest in our seniors and make sure that their mental health and you know, their needs are being taken care of. This is all they have. Every day they wake up and that's where they go, to our community center. And I don't know how many seniors are attending these services, but I know it's over 600, probably more. I'd say 1,000 seniors, and it's sad that they don't have anywhere to go. And so I guess I bring it to the council. It was heartening to hear from the seniors that their programs are shut down. But again, it's another, and hopefully we can come up with some funding so we can get these programs for them. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have concerns over the 98,000 pending general fund transfer to the airport, and I know that since I was appointed and elected, we've always had issues with the airport. So are we receiving any funds? It seems like every year we're giving 98 or whatever large amount to the airport. Are we receiving anything from them?
There is a little bit of revenue coming in,
bit?
but it's not enough to cover the expenditures. The highest expenditure in that fund is personnel. We used to have 1 full-time position and 2 part-time positions, and it's just the revenue that's coming in it doesn't sustain those expenditures. So there is revenue coming in, but it's not enough. Right. So the fund has been operating at a deficit for the last 4 fiscal years. And what happened, and the reason why it started operating at a deficit, was when they made that position permanent. Which is the airport. I can't remember the position name. Airport manager or airport something. But it's the person in charge of the airport. That position before was a part-time position. When they made it permanent full-time, that's when we started having this problem, because that it goes into, like, now you're talking about salary and benefits. It's been operating at a deficit. For example, this fiscal year 24-25, it ended at 109,000 negative in the red.
And we're pretty much stuck with it because we just received some form of a grant recently, right? We received some money from the state or from the feds, right?
Yes, I believe it was for
the street improvement.
The repaving, I think, of the runway?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's it.
Go, Councilmember.
So then, what is the total loss so far?
The total loss, sorry?
For the airport.
The total loss? So if we were to not approve this budget transfer, it would be a deficit of 109,000. If we approve it, it's 109,682 to be exact. If you approve it, then it's not gonna, the 98 is not gonna cover the full deficit, but you'll have a smaller deficit, which is like 16,000 and change.
But we're still losing that money.
It's you're finishing the fiscal year at a deficit regardless.
So right now we're at a loss of 109 plus an additional 98 now.
If not approved.
Right now, if not approved, it'll stay at 109. If approved, it'll be 16,000-ish.
Because we're still losing that money. We're not gonna make any money from pouring in more. So to me, this is adding to that deficit.
Right. So if we don't approve it, it's 101 plus 98.
Well, so what I understood is because So this money is a surplus from 24-25. So in 24-25, the airport had a deficit, right, of negative what is it? 160?
109,682.
109. So now that we're closing out the year and we figure out the actuals, we have a surplus. So with that surplus, we're going to cover that deficit so we don't show a 24-25 year budget in a deficit. The thing is that all of us have expressed our concern about the issues at the airport. So I understand this is to close the year, but I think that it needs to be on the record that if we do not have a plan from now into the next budget on what's going to happen to the airport, then we should stop funding it because we've been paying it for 4 years. So if there's no plan, there's no money. And I think that needs to be on the record for the following year. So I understand we need to cover it or else we're going to have a deficit on our 24-25 budget. So we have to cover that part.
Okay.
Were you finished or you still? No. Okay. So going back to the proposal, there was the transfer to the programs of 858,000, so 98,000 to the airport, the 760,000. So I wanted to discuss with the council to consider a different option. So the recommendation by staff is that we fund or we send $760,000 of that surplus to local capital funds. We have, maybe you can let me know, in that account, I believe you said we have like $7 million or more already?
The 7 million is that was deferred in capital requests, needs.
Okay, so just the request but not the actual funding, right? But we haven't been told the exact amount, but there's a lot of funding for capital improvements that haven't been done in several years. So to put this money also there, we don't know how long it's going to sit there for. So I would like the council to consider and open for discussion to modify the budget amendment resolution and that those $760,000 instead be sent to the general fund but earmarked to pay our police officers whatever back pay they're owed that they brought up. So we need to figure out what's going on there, earmark that money, pay their police officers, because I think that in order for us to put money and just have it sit there for who knows how long, it's probably better to get our house in order and get those things paid and pay our police officers. And with the remaining money, we've been talking about succession planning and we've been talking about structure in-house. So the option or the recommendation for discussion is the rest of the money to set it aside to look at the possibility of hiring or funding, because I don't know if it's there, an assistant city manager. So I'll open up that for discussion.
I also wanted to add that the fire department is in the same boat, correct? So if we're going to have that extra pay.
They also have back pay?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
I agree also with that, but also I know for a fact that we owe a lot of workman's comp cases that have been lingering for years and years, and this is something that has to be cleared up. You want to clean your house? Well, we need to pay these people that we owe money. So we have it, we need to pay it, because the longer we wait, the more money it's going to cost us. So, and there's approximately, and don't quote me, there's about 12 cases that we owe. And we're talking big money. So we need to close these cases. And of course, I agree with our first responders that they need to be made whole. We thought that this had been taken care of, but obviously not. I think it should be a priority so we can get on and continue to move forward in Calexico. And that's all I have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these guys and gals have been out of the proper pay for a couple of years, or maybe even longer. So they do need to be taken care of.
So then I'd like to motion to modify the budget amendment resolution to make the change to the $760,000 that staff was proposing to go to local capital fund to be instead sent to the general fund, but earmarked to pay in priority the police officers and fire that are owed money to fix that situation, and anything left over, what we can have the discussion later if we've got, like Councilmember Calderon said, figure the rest out on whether it's workman's comps or look at the possibility of hiring an assistant city manager. But send it to the general fund, but don't touch it. Keep it there for those things that we just mentioned. That is my motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now we'll move over to public hearing. Okay, at this time, so public hearing, we will open the public hearing at 8:14 p.m. Regarding an urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calexico, California, extending a temporary moratorium on new applications and new permit renewal applications for commercial cannabis businesses for an additional period of 22 months and 15 days. Do you have a staff presentation?
Just a quick overview, Madam Mayor, members of council. This is just a two-step process under state code for extending moratoriums. As you may recall, on October 15th, the council placed a moratorium, a 45-day interim moratorium on new cannabis business license applications and any new renewal applications. This would extend it for a period of up to 22 months and 15 days. It doesn't mean that we'll use the entire amount, but it'll allow us ample time in order to come up with a new ordinance. We do have a task force comprised of the city manager, finance director, fire chief, police chief, and we'll be looking at various enforcement issues with the new ordinance, maybe stricter penalties for illegal cannabis operations, and just looking to beef up our ordinance and maybe look at other factors like limiting the number of outlets, including retail storefronts and cultivation facilities. So we're looking at revamping our ordinance entirely and bringing it back to you for consideration. And this extension will allow us sufficient time to do this. Thank you.
Okay, does the council have any questions for staff? Do we have any presentation from an applicant? No? Do we have any public comment? Okay. So at this time, we will close the public hearing for item number 15. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so we'll open the public hearing for item number 16. It's 8:16 p.m. Introduction and first hearing by title only of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Calexico, California, repealing chapters 5.84 and 5.88 and adding chapter 5.86 to the City of Calexico Municipal Code regarding mobile vending regulations.
I just have a quick PowerPoint. for this item. So the item before you tonight is the introduction and first reading of a mobile vending ordinance, which addresses general sidewalk vending as required by state law. State law now requires us to allow sidewalk vending. We can restrict it in certain areas by making findings that sidewalk vending isn't appropriate because of safety issues, namely congestion on sidewalks and surrounding roadways. I know that originally the focus was on mobile food vending, specifically food trucks, and this ordinance incorporates that. The ordinance does reflect past input from the council. As you may recall, we had a workshop back in June, and direction was provided that the ordinance provides some support to city-based entrepreneurs and the established restaurant industry, because of course we didn't want food trucks and mobile vendors to undermine our restaurant industry. So as you just read out, we are proposing to repeal 2 chapters of the municipal code. Those are our current regulations on mobile vending, which are very narrow. They mainly restrict sidewalk vending in the core of downtown, which we would keep. And also, we would keep regulations on door-to-door salesmen, which we're also required to allow. The proposed ordinance, Chapter 5.8, would establish Chapter 5.86, and it would cover all types of mobile vendors, including food and sidewalk vendors. This will ensure that all vending activities are addressed consistently across the city. So we set up a permitting process. We really tried to ensure that the process was simple. We're using our current processing procedure for business licenses. We're just processing them as a business license with an additional form called the mobile food vendor form. And we're going to do our same routing procedure. The cost will be the cost of the business license, which for mobile food vendors is $124. Now, in order to incentivize local-based vendors, we wouldn't be charging the mobile vendor permit fee for people that have their principal place of residence here in Calexico. We are proposing that out-of-town mobile vendors pay a $300 mobile food vendor fee. And that's just a proposal. You're welcome to suggest another fee, either lower or higher. We can bring that back with the second reading. And just so you're aware, we can make modifications to this ordinance. We'll be bringing it back to you as a second reading, and we can incorporate those changes that, as you suggest, as we go along. So with this proposed process, permits would be issued within 30 days if all requirements are met. Now, if we were to deny it, they could appeal to our administrative hearing officer and ultimately to the council. So in addition to a business license, food vendors would also have to have their health permits from the public health department. For those operating on public property, liability insurance would be required. All operators must comply with the Americans with Disability Act. For accessibility, this is especially important for sidewalk vendors. They are required to maintain 5-foot clearances around their vending areas. All permits and licenses must be visibly displayed on the vending units. The ordinance also includes general regulations applicable to all vendors. Mobile vending would be prohibited in residential zones, except for door-to-door salesmen. They would have to get a business license. These are like the solar companies that go to door-to-door selling. There is a provision in the code that allows citizens to place a sign that says no solicitors, and they're supposed to abide by that. So if you have a no solicitor sign visible from your front facade of your home, Solicitors are not supposed to approach you. Food vendors can, under this ordinance, food vendors cannot operate within 300 feet of existing restaurants unless they share ownership with that restaurant. Vending is also restricted in your schools during school hours. This is because of the potential congestion issue, the drop-offs during the early morning hours and also in the afternoons. Certain streets and roads are also off limits for safety reasons. We're keeping most of the core of the downtown off limits. Vendors must also follow environmental and safety standards and are prohibited from selling alcohol, tobacco, drugs, weapons, and other restricted items. The ordinance also includes general regulations, the ordinance also includes regulations specific to sidewalk vendors. These vendors are typically those push carts and they may include vendors that may not necessarily sell food items, such as flower vendors. Those are the most typical ones. Sidewalk vendors must maintain at least 5 feet of clearance for pedestrians. They are prohibited near intersections, driveways, and building entrances and exits. ADA compliance is required. Proposed operating hours are from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then stationary sidewalk vendors can stay in one location for up to 8 hours. Vendors must provide a marked trash receptacle and clean up all waste within a 25-foot radius before leaving the vending site where they set up. There are also certain regulations for street vendors, commonly referred to as food trucks. Vendor vehicles must be highway authorized and equipped with safety features. Vendors can operate on public streets for up to 12 hours between 6 a.m. and midnight, but not near corners or fire hydrants. Serving food or goods to vehicles would be prohibited. Lighting and signage are limited to the vehicle itself. Vendors must carry liability insurance and comply with ADA and other safety regulations. The ordinance would also allow mobile vendors to set up on private, non-residential property. So these are your commercial and industrial zones. Mobile vendors would not be allowed on private property in residential zones. Vendors would be able to remain stationary for up to 12 hours. Movable tables and chairs would be allowed, but not permanent fixtures. Food truck courts, those are 3 or more food trucks or vending vehicles with shared seating and sanitation would also be permitted on private sites. The vending site must be paved, have sufficient parking, and be kept clean and safe. Vendors must park if parking in a parking lot, the parking area must be underutilized and provide adequate litter receptacles. Underutilized meaning like basically surplus parking. Imagine like the outskirts of a shopping center where parking spaces are very seldom used. Alcohol service is generally prohibited in conjunction with mobile food vending, except during special events. And I'd like to mention that mobile vending as part of special events would be unchanged. So we would still be able to have special events with multiple food vendors through the special events permit. But alcohol service would be allowed in conjunction with alcohol serving establishments such as breweries. However, the vendors themselves would not be able to sell alcohol. Signage is limited to the vehicle, and lighting is restricted to what's necessary for food prep and menu visibility. Soft ambient lighting would be allowed, such as string lights, would be allowed for seating areas that are associated with the mobile food trucks. And then we'd also allow mobile food vendors on city property, specifically city parks. So the way the ordinance is set up is that it would be allowed at the discretion of the recreation manager. She would consider conflicts with existing concessions or events or other park rentals to other private properties. What's proposed is that she have the authority to allow no more than 3 vendors at a park per month unless part of a special event. Vendors must pay the established park rental fee, which is $50, and that would be valid for 1 month. Vending on non-park city properties would be considered on a case-by-case basis. We would have to look to see if there are any underlying agreements, lease agreements, and we felt that this should be, for other city properties, it should be best negotiated. The terms should be negotiated by the city manager and then ultimately authorized by you, the city council. The city can prohibit vending in parks with exclusive concession agreements, and then vendors are not allowed during scheduled events unless, of course, authorized by the event organizer. So just to recap, mobile vendors are prohibited in residential zones, except for the door-to-door salesman. Food vendors cannot operate within 300 feet of existing restaurants unless they share ownership with that restaurant. Vendors are prohibited within 300 feet of schools during school hours and within 200 feet of special events, unless, of course, they're part of the special event. Vending is not allowed on streets with speed limits over 35 miles per hour or in congested or unsafe areas. So the ordinance also gives the Public Works Director the discretion to declare a certain roadway segment unsafe, so that we can, in case we try to be as exhaustive as possible with the streets where vending is prohibited, but there may be streets that, based on level of service, they may not be adequate or suitable for this sort of vending. So it does give the discretion as part of our routing and consultation process to the Public Works Director to make that determination. So in conclusion, the ordinance is a strong first step in setting up a framework for allowing food vending in the city. I think it's a good balance between supporting local businesses and also supporting potential entrepreneurs, especially folks trying to get into the restaurant industry. It's a good way to incubate these sort of potential entrepreneurs. And so we are recommending that you introduce this ordinance, and then we'll bring it back to you for a second reading. Thank you. This concludes staff presentation.
Thank you. Does the council have any question for staff?
I do. In regards to the food trucks near schools, does this include the ice cream trucks that we see after school?
So those are actually separate. They're non-stationary. So because they're non-stationary, they can remain at a location for up to 8 minutes. But if they exceed that, then they're not allowed to be there for more than 8 minutes. So yes, to answer you, it wouldn't be allowed to be there for more than 8 minutes under this proposed ordinance.
Okay, and in reference to the fees, if it's somebody with shared ownership, how would the business license work, and how would the permit fee apply?
So they'll need to apply for 2 separate business licenses, one for the restaurant and then one for the actual mobile vending unit.
And as long let's say that person lives in the city, they don't have to pay the $300, right? As long as they pay the license.
As long as they pay the $124 business license fee.
Okay.
And this is to avoid direct competition with restaurants. We wouldn't want like a food truck that sells, tacos to set up in front of a taco restaurant, that kind of thing. So that's where the buffer rule applies.
Thank you.
I have a question. The outside vendors, because they can have, say for example, a business license or their main business license in El Centro, but come and sell here too, correct?
Yes.
And they're the ones that would pay the $300?
Yes.
What process do you have set up to ensure that what they're selling here, the sales tax they're selling here, is collected by our city and not reported by El Centro or to El Centro?
Well, it's supposed to be reported here. So the gross receipts, that's part of the reporting when they renew their business license.
But our sales tax is higher than El Centro's. So there's like a 0.25%. So what I'm just saying, we need to kind of have a little checks and balances, because it could be tempting to report a sales tax in El Centro, because there's a 0.25% that, you know, could probably go somewhere else, because ours is higher. So it's better for them to report it in El Centro. So as long as there's some type of checks and balances that what they are selling in our city stays in our city, I think we need to ensure that something like that there's some type of protection.
Yeah, I'll work with our business license manager to ensure that happens, and the finance director, of course, to ensure that happens. But I think that any transaction that occurs within our jurisdictional limits needs to be reported as part of their gross receipts. And so it'd be cheating if they were paying their gross receipts to the city of El Centro.
Right, but what I mean is, many times if you have like a credit card thingy, it's set up in the primary location, so it'll be set up as an El Centro sale. So they would have to demonstrate that they have one for Calexico. That's kind of what I.
Yeah, okay. So it'd be part
So
of our
those things,
enforcement.
yeah.
Like if we go out there, we'll have to check
They
that.
have to have one that's set up for Calexico, right? Because they might not want to pay, you know, the two things that the two, you know, accounts that they're going to have. So like I said, and a lot of people nowadays are paying more with credit card, so that automatically would go to their city of origin.
Interesting, okay. We'll work on
Yeah.
trying to avoid that.
They're not going to cheat.
And I'm sorry, and you mentioned enforcement. So in the areas of downtown Calexico, we shouldn't have any vendors, correct?
Yeah, mainly, so the ordinance does remove some of the peripheral streets that are currently prohibited. So it would allow First Street and then also Heber Avenue. Like currently those are prohibited, but we would want to see the introduction of food trucks downtown to see if they can thrive there maybe, but not in those congested areas. So the core would still continue to be prohibited as it currently exists. So yes, those main streets like Rockwood between 1st and 3rd, and then Heffernan between 1st and 3rd would still be prohibited, and also 1st between Paulin and Heber would still continue to be prohibited. 2nd between Paulin and Heber. 3rd is currently prohibited, but under this ordinance we would remove that restriction. 3rd is not as congested. It might be a good place to foster some sort of food truck scene. So that's why, that was the thought behind that.
How about First and Mary?
First and Mary.
The tourist parking lot?
So it would be allowed there. That, we would allow food vending.
I went downtown today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any more questions? Do you have any public comment? Okay, we'll be closing the public hearing at 8:36 p.m. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thailand is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, informational items, status update on remaining projects funded with American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA allocations.
Good evening again. This report provides a brief informational update on the status of remaining ARPA projects. Departments reviewed each project to confirm whether it remains active, identify updated timelines, and determine whether any unspent balances should be reallocated. Most ARPA projects are still in progress, with updated timeframes included in the attachment. As of mid-October, approximately 2.8 million in ARPA funds remain unspent across all locations. Department identified about 405,000 as potential reallocations due to projects that will not proceed or that finish under budget. Direction is needed from the City Council regarding how they would like to proceed with the reallocation of these unspent funds, so that staff may return with formal recommendations for reallocating the remaining balances. Our ARPA funds must be fully expended before December 31, 2026. Staff will continue to monitor project status and provide updates as needed. This update is only informational and carries no fiscal impact at this time.
Do you have any questions by the council? Okay, moving on to future agenda items. Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi.
Yes, Madam Mayor. If we can look into ways to make sure that especially the alleyways, downtown area, do we need to secure the fence? There's been a lot of complaints of smell, stench. The alleyways, especially like on Rockwood Avenue, Rockwood and First. I mean, do we need to close the gates? I know they've been vandalized, they've been cut open, but we need to figure out ways of, cleaning the alleyways. I don't know if there's a schedule for that, but there's been a lot of complaints of the smell of stench in that area. Also looking at, a gentleman had mentioned, looking at residential and commercials, abandoned and burnt buildings. And, just to make sure that they're up to code, we don't want a fire to happen in one of these, abandoned open buildings. So we need to work on that expeditiously. I mean, there's a lot of complaints. They're all over. There's quite a bit of that here in Calexico. Also, if we can do a fee study update, a report on it. I know that I've asked the police chief on the administrative fee, but if we can do one in general, a fee study to see in combination of all departments how we can increase our fees. Are we where we're supposed to be at? How is our surrounding cities? What their permits cost and so forth. So we definitely need a fee study soon. So that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Marquez.
For me right now, the pressing issue is for us to get the payroll for fire and police taken care of. Other than that, also looking into, in regards to the abandoned buildings, looking into, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, receivership properties?
Receivership.
Properties. So if maybe we can look forward into doing something like that. If we've had abandoned properties for years, there's something that we can do. So look into something like that. That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Calderon.
Yes, I'd like to start an Employee of the Month program. I've noticed that we have a lot of hardworking, dedicated individuals in our city, and I think we're due. We need to honor them, and also it helps boost the morale through our city. So I'll bring it up in our next regular agenda. I'll agendize it, and hopefully we can continue and bring our staff and recognize them, so also our community can see what type of employees we have. Another thing that I'd like to see, and this is not an item for the agenda, but get a report from our city manager at least every 2 weeks of what's going on in our city. We don't come in, we won't know what's going on. And I think we need to be informed of the things that are going around, in our city. So every 2 weeks, a month, or, let us know what's going on, at least, a couple of bullets and about possible investors or whatever the case might be, but we need to be informed of what's going on in the city. Second, I'd like to also, for our next meeting, invite the Vincent Memorial ladies that want CIF. I think that's a big accomplishment. I mean, this comes in many years after, it doesn't come often, in other words. So I'd like to bring them in and recognize them for their hard work and what winning CIF in Southern California. And last but not least, on just a clarification on item 13, I'm not against donating money. I was just against rewarding the in-kind donation, and that's all because I am in support of this funding, or at least this program for our farm workers. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to request that the homeowners that came in today to bring up their issues, that they be contacted somehow and to get more information on. I know there's only 3 minutes, so I had to cut some people off, but to get the full information and see if it's something that's within the scope of our authority to fix. So also, like I mentioned earlier, the issue with the POA, I didn't know that fire also had an issue, but we need to start making that a priority and getting bi-weekly reports on the progress. And all the same thing, receivership. I know when we were at the League of Cities and we were speaking to some people there, I did understand that receivership is an issue that all cities have. So it's not just ours, but ours, for some reason, seem to never get taken care of. So we do have these properties that are abandoned, and then they become vandalized, and then they become burnt. And then after they're burnt, then they go back in and start living there again. And that was the case with the one on 7th Street. They're back in there. So the fire happened, the place is still open, and they're still going in there. So if you can meet maybe with fire and code enforcement and see what we can do, if we have the authority to enforce or make them fence it in, clean it up, whatever it is that needs to get done, no trespassing. If the city needs to do it, and then send them the bill, if that's even possible. But we can't just ignore it or wait until legal gets back. We need to do whatever is in our scope of authority. We need to take action, and then because these legal battles can go on for years, and it's not fair for all these neighbors that have rats go into their homes because of all this stuff that's going on in those abandoned properties. So please look into not only that, but any other property. Take a drive around and let's see what's going on with these properties. That's all I have. Anybody else?
I do have one. Go ahead, ladies first.
Thank you. So just real quick, I went downtown Calexico today, and I was amazed with the number of vendors that just go down there and sell fruit, cell phones. I kid you not, it was like 10 of them, and all they do is put their little foldable tables and they. So who's going to help me with that? Who do I have to talk to? This should be something that should be going on like a daily basis. Somebody should be walking downtown every single day. How are we making sure that our customers of downtown and our citizens of downtown are well taken care of if nobody is going down there and looking at what's going on?
Yes, so that's the code enforcement program is in the police department, so we'll assign that to them.
But they do set up after 5. So maybe if code enforcement doesn't work after 5, then maybe assign it to the patrols because they know when code enforcement is off the clock, and that's when some start setting up. Just a suggestion. Councilmember Calderon.
Well, the last thing I'd like to again advocate for our seniors. Let's try to look for some money so we can get some services for them. I mean, it's almost a month and a half that they'll be without services. And it's a shame that we should be having these programs for them. And so if we can find any funding, I know our funding's tight, but I think we would help these individuals get through the holidays. And that's all I have to say.
Just piggyback on that, who would then approve the programs and when they're actually not having any of those programs? Because I'm...
Ms. Gerardo, please. Ms. Gerardo.
Good evening. Yes, today is our last day of our fall program. We start back in January. Some of the reasons why we stop it right now, we always want a break on Thanksgiving because we don't have good participation during Thanksgiving, so we're just wasting money paying instructors. And we also usually step for the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's. So that's usual. What is not usual would be not to have the first 2 weeks in December. Now, different things impacted the budget this year. One of them is losing one of our programs, CERT program, which would provide some instructors for free to the city. We lost that program and we started to pay those instructors, so we need to adjust the budget. That's one of the reasons. Also, we're gonna up the payment for recreation leaders from 18 to 19 something, so we had to adjust. That's the reason why we are not providing 2 weeks in December. So we usually have up until today, that's normal. We stop during Thanksgiving break, that's normal, and 2 weeks in December because that's also normal. We usually have a drop of 75% participation during those 3 weeks. The decision was to cut the 2 weeks in December for budgeting reasons, but not only for the seniors, for everybody, because we need to make it work with the monies that we have and make sure that we're within budget at the end of June.
And I would actually say that during the months of November and the 2 weeks of winter break is when a lot of our students are free and looking for these services. So even if the senior citizens are not, 100%, if they're leaving out of town, I know that a lot of our kiddos would definitely benefit from these programs. Mm-hmm. So take into consideration then making sure, city manager, that we are able to provide these services, because I concur. There's no reason why we should have a whole month and a half off.
I have a question. You mentioned an increase in wages. Was that budgeted? And also, it wasn't budgeted? So then who authorized an increase in wages?
It just happened. It's happening starting, I believe, next week. But it's not only recreation leaders. It's for anybody who was earning less than the salary schedule of the city. So if the salary schedule starts at 1911, that's where we're going to start all of our temporary staffing. So that would.
Was that authorized by the council?
I don't know if it needs to.
This is the first time I hear about it.
Yeah, who authorized that?
We just got notice from administration that's happening.
City manager?
There was I probably need help from either HR or finance to explain this issue, but there was a basic salary hourly rate that we weren't following, and now we are following it. If you can explain that more, Maribel?
Good evening, everyone. Maribel Castro, HR manager. So basically, what we've been doing through the years is we follow for temporary employees. They get paid like at step 1 of the salary schedule for the city employees, and every time that's been adjusted, every time there's been an increase. But then last year, after July 1st, when the increases went on to 1911, and they were supposed to be adjusted in August, they were not. So that's why, it was brought up I worked with finance and talked to the city manager that we need to adjust those at the proper rate.
So these aren't city employees, they're temps.
they're temps, but we look through the history and what's been done in the past, and we always follow that they get paid the same as, if that position is within the city, then they get paid the same as the step one of that range.
The only issue I have is that we have employees that are working full-time and not getting what they're supposed to be getting paid, and this comes up?
Oh, no, I mean, the regular employees are getting paid the proper rate. That's not
No,
the
I'm talking
issue.
about these temporaries. We're talking about Hunter's employees, right?
Correct.
And we have issues. We want to be fair across the board, and then all of a sudden this pops up, and it's not brought to the council. That's the only confusion that I have. Why wasn't it brought to council?
Also, if it's a temporary agency, there's many temporary agencies, so why weren't we given the opportunity to go out and look for a better rate?
I think it's not the rate of the agency, it's just the rate of the employees, because the rate of the agency continues to be the same. I
But
mean,
is that, are the rates stipulated in the contract? Are we bound by some type of agreement?
No. I mean, like, the temporary agencies, they already are charging us certain rate, correct? And it's just the hourly rate for those temporary employees.
I think we need to,
Yeah.
we need to discuss this in
Yeah,
closed
we could-
session before any increase in rates is approved or
Yes.
paid out.
We'll bring back this item at the next meeting.
Yeah, so then that fixes the issue with the increase in rate for now. The other, I had another question, but
Well, I mean,
I
as a
forgot.
result of this, our kids and our senior citizens suffer for not having their programs. And that's why it's something that the city manager has to keep us informed, so we can make decisions, so we don't have that void for them when they're off on vacation or on holidays and so forth. So that's why, and nothing on you, it's just the city manager, please, you gotta keep us informed of some of these changes, especially when we're going through negotiations.
exactly.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so maybe find out if without that increase that has not been approved by the council, we can continue to keep these programs open for a week or two. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Do we, okay, that's it. So motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Mayor Noricumbo?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Legaspi?
Yes.
Councilmember Thalinda is absent. Councilmember Marquez?
Yes.
Councilmember Calderon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, meeting adjourned at 8:55 p.m.